It's pre-release week for a Lawless Time, and we're at the start of a new rotation set. A new set of legendaries. We've been asking for stronger ones. Will this set deliver? I'm Jordan from the Colorado Cantina Crew, and tonight we're going to find out. I'm joined by Kyle and Sharkey. We're going to dive into a tier list. We did our leader tier list earlier this week. Caused a little stir around. Got some good comments on it. We'll see how that goes for this one. Well, basically, we're going to go through and do the same exact things but for legendaries, and we just, we're getting an extra pod in here for you guys for this week because it's a big week. We have our press kit content coming up as well, so just a lot of different things that we're getting into. So let's not waste any time and let's dive right into the tier list. We have our standard tier list style, the S, A, B, C, no D in this tier list. Our teammate Paul Sertoast a lot made the tier list and left the D out, so you're gonna have to ask him where's the D and where's the D out. We'll find it. Let's define the tier list real quick. We'll do a little draft, we'll get some rankings going, and we'll figure it out from there. So S tier, meta defining in every deck of the color. It's a no-brainer. Think super laser deck and a blue green super laser blast and a blue green villain deck. A, Kyle, what's it looking like?
Yeah, A means, you could potentially build around it. Very strong card of interest. You're happy to pull this out of a pack. It has value. It will get played.
Sharky, what's B looking like?
B is good in the decks that want to include it, but doesn't need to include a 3 copy of it. Sometimes maybe cut down on it. Still strong, can be very effective in a deck, but isn't necessarily required.
Yeah, B's kind of like the average, right? Like it's like you're not sad to get it, you're not thrilled. It's one that you're probably going to play. Utility player, maybe. Whereas with C, since we're missing the D, this is where it really starts to get pretty bad. You're disappointed opening it. It's just that last step before the garbage area, before the coaster, and that's where F and the coaster rating is. So if you guys are new to the channel, for these tier lists, what we do is we try to come to an agreement. We argue through what we think they are. Sometimes we do a draft, sometimes we don't. Tonight we will be doing a draft, and I have the first pick. I'm going to start with one that I think some players are excited to see, some players aren't excited to see, and that's single reactor ignition. I think this belongs in S tier. I think it's kind of a little bit non-controversial as well. I think as you go to another rotation set, Super Laser Blast leaves, another one comes in. Some could argue it's better than Super Laser Blast with the damage effects as well. It is interesting to see it go from blue to red, but overall, I think it's really interesting.
Yeah, I'm not going to argue with you on this one. This is the one I was going to take before we restarted. So Super Laser Blast was a key card, a key component of a control deck archetype. It was a valuable legendary that saw play all the way from set 1 until now. This is its replacement. It will fill that same role. You do have the challenge of it being an additional aspect to function, but it's looking like control is falling towards those colors anyway. So yes.
Yeah, I think it's interesting. It is a little different not to have that board wipe in blue-green anymore, right? I think part of the fun aspect of this new set is that there's the splash bases as well. So maybe it is blue-green with this as the splash, right? You could make the argument, do you really need to do more than one of these board wipes in these games? We'll find out, but really strong legendary, and I'm glad that we have it, even though having some control is tough. Kyle, where are you taking it next?
Yeah, I'm going to just go to one of my favorite characters that I think is also a very good legendary, and that's the Mandalorian. I'm a big Mando fan. He's clearly an A. I don't think you could argue for him for S. He's not meta defining, but he's going to find his way, as we defined, into a lot of decks and be a very good card. The fact that he comes out with a shield, he's harder to remove. He draws you a card. He can continue to get shields with additional card draw. So he's a sticky, hard to deal with unit. And so far is proving to be an excellent target for things like aggressive negotiations because he's helping fill your hand, hard to remove, and can smack you hard the next turn. So we're going to see a lot of this guy.
Yeah, I don't see any disagreement here either. This guy is a very solid unit. I have him also solidly in A.
I think when I saw him
around is good.
Yeah, when I saw him the first time, I was a little underwhelmed, and I thought, maybe it wouldn't be that good. But the more I get to see it, the more I think we see it being played in action. It is sticky, like you mentioned, Kyle, and you get card draw. Overall, who knows if the bounty hunter aspect ever really pays off trait-wise. I think if there's a set that it works, it'll probably be this set. but really strong include there as well. Sharky, you're up.
I'm just gonna go ahead and get the biased one out of the way. I've got Cad Bane listed in my B tier. I think he's very solid. I think he's great in the decks that want to play him, and he's one of those cards that actually takes over a game if he can stick. The issue with Cad is the if he can stick, and the colors that he's in right now are a little harder to make him work. So I think he's very solid, but he's not going to be. You're not going to splash for him. You're not going to go out of your way too far, but. I mean, 6/6 overwhelm with shield that gets bigger is a very strong unit if you can get it to work.
Yeah. Kyle, what do you think about Cad?
Yeah, I mean, as a reminder, this is for Premier only, right? If this was limited, he's probably garbage. Well, maybe that's not true, but we're not going there. He, as we defined our ranks, I think B or C, probably B. He has a deck that he fits into, but it's very, very specific, right? Even if I'm playing blue-green, I'm not necessarily playing this guy. I need to be playing blue-green and doing credit shenanigans for me to start to consider him. So, that's definitely going to hold him out of A. I could see an argument for C and him not getting played a lot, but he is just a cool character that kind of helps when I open him. I'm less sad.
Yeah, so he's a 6-cost, 6/6, shielded with Overwhelm. On attack, defeat any number of friendly credit tokens. Give an experience token to this unit for each credit destroyed this way. So, Sharky, I know you've been playing a little bit. What's the standard upgrade that you get? Is it 2? Is it 1? How are you angling it?
I tend to throw him. He's a 3 of in like Boba Blue.
I mean, more so like how many credits are you typically destroying to give him experience?
I mean, the first time you do it, it's usually 2 or 3. The second, third, fourth is usually just 1 because he's generating credits in that deck for you as well by killing things and running them over. So he does grow out of hand sometimes, and it becomes one of those both board control and damage pushing mechanics that works really well in Boba. That's about the only place he works. If I'm being honest, I have not gotten another deck that I've been able to splash it. Like even splash bases, I'm like, I don't want to play him in Jabba because you can't ambush him. That being said, on 6, a 6/6 overwhelm shielded unit is very good. So, you're kind of ignoring part of the card if you just play him in that, but he's still a strong unit. I mean, to be compared to the Mandalorian right above him, which does draw you a card, but a 6/5 shielded is slightly less, stat-wise.
Sure.
So they're both, I think, very solid, but I just think Cad has a little bit more limited use.
Yeah. I would love to see Cad work in like a Dryden Blue, right, and get the ambush going, but I think the credit combination might be tough. I think B is fair, depending on where some of the other stuff goes. Kyle, you're up again.
Yeah, give me another opportunity here. I want to take another one of my favorite characters since it's my turn, and that's going to be Keimer, or the Stranger. I've been hoping this guy was going to be a card for a while. I really wanted him to be a card in Legends of the Force because I had an opportunity to meet Manny, the actor that plays him, and I wanted to get a signed card. Yeah. Anyway, he's probably, I don't think he's meta defining. I don't think I can make an argument for S because, again, he's not that cracked, but he's very, very good. He's at least an A, right? So you could argue the end of S. I thought the first time I read him, I thought, oh my God, S, right? But he's one of those ones that as I played a little bit more, he's definitely good, but he doesn't always kill things, right? So even with his ability to take the hit first, sometimes he'll ambush in and then not quite finish off a unit. Maybe I need like Talzin or something to help finish the job, which makes him extra good. Then he's a big threat on the following turn, but he's not. Sometimes he's in your hand and you're like, I want to ambush him, but he can't quite kill that thing.
Yeah.
And then he's disappointing, right? So that keeps him out of S for me, but he's still very good.
I have him at the bottom of S as well, though. Okay. Like, I do think that his ability is strong enough to require an answer, and because of that, you're definitely including him in blue-yellow villainy decks. I could even see an argument for him being splashed because of his inherent ambush. I think is a very strong unit, and even if he doesn't necessarily kill something immediately, he presents a threat that needs to be dealt with. So he's either 2 for 1 or 1 for 1 with another hit on top of it. So I think that he's a very good. I lean towards S tier because of him being a 5 cost and coming out more often and being used in that way. I can see an argument for A though.
So I think he's really cool. Love the ability, really creative, right? With upsides and downsides. It is a little weird that you can't kill a 2/4 with it. The 3/5, not being able to kill a 3/5 is also pretty tough. One question that I've been thinking about a lot, Kyle, is Is he an S tier legendary, or is he just like a perfect fit in Talzin Yellow, and Talzin Yellow is such a good deck right now?
Yeah, and that's what I mean. Like, there's a lot of these weird situations where he can't quite kill something, but paired with Talzin, she finishes the job, right? He gets the force for you, and then you can use her ability to do that last step. So, like, in Talzin, I think he's S. But if outside of Talzin, if I'm including him in other blue, yellow villain decks, he probably falls down to still just an A. Very good.
Yeah.
I mean, to Sharky's point, he's kind of Cura-like, where he leaves behind that big threat, that big grit body that needs to be answered. So he's still very good.
Yeah, I mean, we're nitpicking here. Obviously, it's I would be surprised if at the end of this list he's not in the top 4 of things that we're talking about, right?
Yeah,
So,
I'm very conservative with S, right? You have to be like definite yes for me to put it up there, right? A is not a bad thing.
yeah.
Yeah, no, it's good.
Yeah, let's go with A, and then I'm up for the double turn here. One that I'm interested in talking about, probably from a little bit of a lesser power level perspective, but just an interesting like design space. And for me, that is Rey. I think it's one of those cards, like it's you read it like Chewie kinda, right? With the ability here, she's an 8 cost 9/9. Opponents can't take control of this unit. This unit can't be defeated by enemy card abilities, so it can be attacked. It can be all that different stuff, but it's not like completely overpowered. It's not completely cracked. It's a little slow. It's great in the control and capture area, but overall, I think it's really in like the firm B area, like role player. Really good in the spots where it's really good in, but probably not in every deck that you see.
That's interesting because I think that she's good enough to be qualified. You guys are picking on my S tier cards. I have her in S tier. I think she's phenomenal. I think a 9/9 8-drop that can't be controlled is massive, and I believe that it will be everywhere in every green heroism deck that exists from maybe week 3 onward until she rotates. I think she's that good of a card.
Kyle?
Interesting. Definitely not an S for me. I think she's a sideboard card, frankly, right? If it's S, it's definitely going in the main board. For me, I'm already finding that I want to put Rey in the sideboard for those control type decks, those long games where I want something that's very sticky and hard to deal with by a control deck. Kind of like sometimes like with Chewie, the Chewie pilot previously, there was arguments whether you main boarded him or if you brought him in those matchups. I feel like Rey's kind of the same way. In the decks that I've been playing so far, I've been on Force. And so I really want Yoda in my hand a lot more than I want Rey. And, I only want Rey maybe in the sideboard game as an additional threat or an unanswerable threat. But any card that I'm paying 8 for that says do nothing the minute I play it, I can't give an S to.
So it's possible that mine is biased based on the deck I've been playing it in. And Rey has been in OBVT for me, right? And with OBVT, on multiple occasions, I've been able to stick a Consular on 5 and play Rey on 6. Like, that has not been a difficult thing for me to set up. And then Rey just takes the game over. You cannot stop Rey and Obi and the Consular. And, like, it becomes a too many threats to deal with situation, and Rey is that strong of a thing to kind of gravitate all of the hate towards. And so, again, possible bias here, but like she has been extremely good in those situations, and I haven't really run a whole lot of heroism decks, so my data might be a bit limited, but in that one specifically, she's phenomenal.
Yeah, I could see the argument for A. I'd definitely put her behind Mando and Kymer, though.
Yeah, I think
that's fair. I've got both or one of those in S tier. So
I think like what she does really, really well. Right? Like to have a sticky unit that's really hard to deal with in the matchups in which you need that, she feels like an awesome role. And she might even be better than Yoda in that spot. Right, Kyle? Like I think I don't know if I in those matchups if I would swap Yoda out of my deck. I'd probably want Rey in addition to or some sort of mix. But there's a lot of arguments to say that if you don't need the heal, if you don't need the cross arena ping of Yoda, that Rey might be better there. As of now, I don't believe there's going to be that many of those circumstances. I think it's between A and B. I'm personally fine with her at the tippy top of B, but I would also be cool at the end of A. What do you guys think as a final?
My vote goes to A.
Yeah, I would concede to Sharkey there, but I'd put her at the end of A. I'm not putting her ahead of the other two.
That's fair.
Yeah. And then the next one that I want to talk about, I personally think is really strong. It was actually, I have inklings that this could be an S tier maybe in the future. It's probably not right now. And that's the Liberty. I think it belongs in the A tier as well. It is a 8-cost 9/7 Sentinel with a really, really strong ability. I think this is a card that you probably could splash and is worthy of playing in the splash base and maybe otherwise. When played non-attack, exhaust an enemy unit and return all upgrades that cost 4 or less to its owner's hand. In a world where we have almost no upgrade hate, it costs... we know what's easy to get out is being able to not get cheesed out early if you're able to get it out with credits or some other way. I think overall it has a really strong ability. I don't have a deck for it right now. That's probably why it's keeping it out of S tier for me. I haven't found something that I think is really awesome for it yet, but I think it's a great stat line, and I expect this to get a lot of play in this rotation block.
We have absolutely now covered all of the cards that I have in S tier. Liberty, I believe, belongs in the S tier. I do have a deck for it, and it is anything Lando. There will probably be others as well, but I can tell you Lando wants to play Liberty. Worst case scenario, you flip and play it, and you have a giant Sentinel, but best case scenario, you're not going to, like, upgrade hate, as you mentioned, is actually really hard to come by sometimes, especially right now. So Voltroning is a thing, and the when played and on attack of returning the stuff that costs 4 or less is massive. I cannot describe to you how good that is because it's only been used against me and it sucks. But it's a very strong 9/7 Sentinel that can also have additional effects on the battlefield.
Yeah, you guys are talking me into it a little bit. I mean, when I first saw this card, I just saw a new Home One, and Home One's a coaster, right? It's a legendary that I don't play with now. This does have additional capability, right, to remove upgrades, that sort of thing. But it looked like big ship in yellow. Typically, cunning is not where I want big things. I'm more of a mid-range to aggressive strategy. So having kind of a late-game huge ship Sentinel didn't make sense to me too much. Lando could be a place for it. I agree with you there. Upgrade hate, though, I usually want my upgrade hate cheap and early, not late, right? If I'm getting late upgrade hate, it's probably too late. I'm going to be dead. So, I think your point it fits there, Jordan. I'm not sure this card has a home. That definitely keeps it out of S. And as far as A goes, I'm not feeling it the same. It sounds like you guys are both edging towards S, so I'm probably going to lose the argument here. But to me, this is a B. This is probably a sideboard card.
Have you ever had emergency powers played against you?
I have, but there's other answers to that, right? There's
I
other
know.
things
I'm just
we
saying
can do.
this is another answer to that, and it is a good one.
I hear you on the early and cheap because I agree, but that's like a tertiary benefit of this card, right? I think it's the exhaust is really the big one, right? Because it has the instant impact. And then it repeats when played and on attack. I think anytime you get that combo in a well-statted unit, it's good. I hear your point about the triangle aspect of a late cunning unit, but I think you could argue that in certain spots that's kind of like what the archetype is needed to be able to get a little bit over the top. I think your points about the consular in some decks, like with Rey, could probably be true here with credits, or maybe a consular build as well with a Lando Force or something like that. I'm sure there's possibilities out there. I think to your point, Kyle, for me, without having a home, I don't want to argue it for being S. If it had a home, maybe I would make that argument, but I'm comfortable with it in A, maybe in the middle to general area. But I think this is a card that we're going to look at over the sets and see it getting used more and more as time goes on.
I think there's two homes right now, but go ahead.
Well, one benefit I would give it is that it can hit leaders, right? It doesn't say non-leader. If it said non-leader on it, I'd be more adamant that this card is not good. But the fact that it can tap down a leader, I mean, imagine I'm playing Kylo and I'm trying to Voltron up a Kylo and you play this card. This is going to end the game for me, right? So you tap down my Kylo and ruin my day. So, it has its spots.
I think it's got two decks right now that it fits into. One is Obi-Wan yellow and the other one is Lando. I think Lando is more common right now since Obi-Wan is generally running with Virgin's Temple, but I do think Obi yellow will make an appearance by the end of the set.
Yeah.
I'd keep it right next to Rey. To me, potential use, very specific situations it has use. I see it more as a sideboard addition, which I think of Rey as well. So I like having them paired together. If that's an A, so be it.
Yeah. And then you're up next.
Kyle Sharkey?
No, you.
Oh, okay, cool.
He's just picking randomly at this point.
Yeah,
no, not because I just went twice. So then it's Kyle.
I had
Sharkey.
I had Keimer before that. You never had Sharkey go.
No. Right?
Since Cad.
Okay,
I had
so
one,
Sharkey,
not two. It doesn't matter.
Sharkey, you're up.
Yeah.
See, I told you. Sometimes it's a draft, sometimes it's not.
Yeah, sometimes. I'm going to pick one that I am going to identify one more time as a probable bias here. I think Chewbacca is B tier. And I think Chewbacca is B tier because I've been playing a lot of Revan lately, and so things that stack up experience tokens over time while controlling a board can be a very strong effect. In addition, Chewie heals. Chewie's limiting factor is a little bit on the slightly lower stats for 4 than you'd like to see, but I think he can stick and take over a game if allowed to, or he requires an answer if he gets even one swing in. So I consider that solidly B. He won't go in every deck, but I think that the decks that can use him, or a deck that can use him, is going to find itself very happy he's there.
Kyle?
Okay. Yeah, I thought based on the argument you were making, you were going to try to push him into A. I'm not going to argue with B, right? I think B is fine. My problem with him so far is every time I've played him, I'm like, I wish I had Ezra. He's just better in those colors. Ezra is just better at that stat. Has a better stat line at the time, a better effect most of the time. So, there's an uncommon that I find I'd just rather have almost all the time. And then there's other good 4-drops. So he just doesn't seem to make the cut for me is the problem. So B's fine.
Yeah, I think I'm with B as well. The thing that I was going to say is there's so many good 4-drops in this game. Be it uncommons, legendaries, rares, common. Like, there's just so many good ones. Churret, Typho, Ezra, Kanan. Like, there's just so much good stuff happening that it's a competitive spot.
It's a good competitive spot in these colors, too. So, I agree with you, but this is the context of legendaries.
Totally.
And I think that Chewbacca can at least find a place.
Yeah, I'm sure we'll see some play of this set. I think B is totally fair. And then you get a second one, too.
Oh, I'll get a second one. Hey, well, let's have some fun. I think this one I'll get some disagreement on. I have Maul in A tier. And I'm just going to drop that out there. And part of the reason I have Maul in A tier is because he's not S. He's not going to define a meta, but in the red-green villainy decks that run him, and mostly right now I'm running Boba and Dryden, he takes over a game. Absolutely can win a game for you with one attack. Like, effectively take 2 units off the board, or just hit the base, and so that they can't play any more units until they delete him or deal with him. And that has literally won me games on multiple occasions. It's not inconsistent. It's actually not that hard to do. In Boba, you're playing him early. In Dryden, you're playing him late and ambushing. Both of them are use cases that I think are extremely strong. And with the 6/8 stat line, I think he's sticky enough to make it happen more often than we initially gave him credit for. I know that he was looked a little bit like, really? That's it? But, like, this dude can take over a game.
So you mentioned his stat line. He's a 7-cost 6/8 with Overwhelm. His ability reads, when attack ends, if this unit dealt combat damage to a player's base, you may take control of a non-leader unit that the player controls. When this unit leaves play, that unit's owner takes control, etc., etc. I should have stopped reading a couple sentences early, a couple words early. I think it's a little bit slow, but clearly a huge unit, something that you really need to deal with. I think A might be a little too generous, but I definitely, this is not a card that you're going to open and be sad about opening, I don't think, right, Kyle?
I mean, he's Darth Maul. He looks super cool.
He's cool.
But he definitely falls into that, once you get to 7 and up, for me, when I play it, you better do something. And so any card that says when played, do nothing, really, I don't love it, So this guy really screams, give me ambush. Give me ambush. With ambush, oh my goodness, this guy's a complete monster. You're right. He could take over a turn, take over a game. Yeah. We don't have a lot of the good ambush stuff now. So we've got Dryden, right? Maybe he finds a good home there. So if you can give him ambush, this guy's a total animal. And maybe we'll get more cards that do. Without that, when played, do nothing, scares me a little bit. That kind of keeps him out of A. I mean, that's part of the argument for Keimer being an A is ambush, frankly, right? So to me, I'd put him towards the top of B. I do like him better than Chewbacca or Cad, so I think he's fair kind of where you have him sitting at the moment.
Yeah. Sharkey?
Yeah, that's fair. Like I said, the other use case is in Boba Red. And Boba Red can, you may pay 7 for him, but you're playing him on 4 or 5. I've done both. And he doesn't do anything that turn, but at that point, everyone's got these wide eyes like, oh shit, how do I deal with that? Because he can't even be beguiled, right? So, as a 7 cost, he cannot be returned to hand like that. So you have to have a different answer.
So I'm cool with Maul here, but one thing to keep in mind, and I'm just thinking about it in general, is like, I wonder if we ever need to reframe our perspective on like what a 7 or 6 drop needs to do, especially as we get further and further away from Spark of Rebellion and otherwise.
You remember what I told you about the tier list?
It's going to be the worst one that you ever watched. Stay tuned for the rest. All right. Kyle, you're up.
I think it's because we have to reevaluate.
Yeah.
We're being so kind here. It's time to talk some smack. I'm going to tear this ship apart. This card is super fun. I think it's awesome. I love playing this card in Twin Suns. If you bring this card to a premier tournament and try to high roll people, you might get it done, but you're more likely going to lose a lot of games when you try to play this card. To me, this is a coaster, right? I want to own one of these for my Twin Suns decks. I don't think I ever want to try to play this in Premier. It's just a good way to pay 7, lose the game. So, I think it's fun. I think it's interesting. It's not a competitive tier card.
Yeah, I'm with you. I also think it's the trash tier. I just think that more often than not, you're going to play something that costs less than 7, that impacts your game less than a 7 cost should.
Yeah.
I wanted to actually agree with you for a long time, and the use cases I've had of it, the data does not back up what Jordan just said. So, again, it's a little on the limited side. I don't play it every game, and even in the decks that I do play it. It's not in a lot of decks. It's in about 2 right now. But I'm surprised at how effective it has been, even in the ones where you don't draw the best. Like, even playing a 6-drop has sometimes been fine. Especially because I'm playing it early most of the time in the decks I'm playing it. Now, if you have to play it on 7, I'm really skeptical of it being good. But if you can find a way to play it early, then I think it actually is fairly effective. Which, to me, puts it into C tier in the it needs work, but it can work tier. So it's slightly above coaster for me. That being said, I'm not going to argue too hard to get it out of the coaster tier because, yeah, the lows are pretty low.
Yeah. I mean, if I know you're playing it and I play around it too, that makes it worse, right?
Yeah, 100%.
I could see it maybe as a sideboard card, though. If you're playing against somebody who's playing a really high, like a really end game type deck with a ton of bombs, and they're going to have to throw those in the row, and you know they have to, and you're able to cheat it out, sure. You could cheat some wins with this, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, you can grab their Intimidator or something crazy and
if you're
win
playing
a game.
on a Wednesday in February when it's a little bit warm out, like it just, I hate paying 7 for something that I don't know is going to help me. That's
a fair and valid feeling. I just think that because it does have use cases, it's above the coaster tier for me.
Yeah.
So
I mean, if Paul didn't lose the D, I could maybe argue.
Right, I wanted more granularity.
But I think my vote is for it to stay in F. Kyle?
Yeah, it's a coaster.
Okay. So
unless we're doing Twin Suns rankings, then I'll move it up.
Yeah. All right, so let's talk about one who is also probably a coaster. Probably meaning maybe, could be, kinda. And I think that's probably L3. I think she has a pretty nice ability. She's a 6-drop, 3/2 hidden. So the stat line obviously is not why you would be playing this card, but it's when played, search the top 10 cards of your deck for any number of droid units with a combined 5 cost or less and play each of them for free. So I could see a world where she's better than this. I've tried it in Yularen, I've tried it in Boba, I've tried different types of droids. You have good access to droids. You have Heisinger, you have the droid missile platform, you have HK, you have the new, what do they call, the torture droids with the 000 and BT. Like, you have some, like, what you would imagine are good droids, and it just has felt so bad for me. And I don't know. Okay, am I wrong?
Not completely. This is another one of those where I've seen use cases that aren't the worst. I have this slightly below Tear That Ship Apart, but I also have both of them in C tier, but only because they have uses that are, frankly, if we go back through the years of SWU, these are better than some of the legendaries we've considered coasters before. And because of that, I have them in C tier. However, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that these are the best cards in the world. Like, they need work to make work.
Yeah.
This is probably one of the ones I don't like very much.
Yeah, I mean, best case scenario is you hit, right? You search the top 10 and you get 5 cost worth of droids to play. And so I play 5 cost worth of droids, which would have cost 5 anyway. And so that means I got a 3/2 hidden for 1. Okay, cool. And then the worst case scenario, is I miss. Now it's even worse. I search the top 10 and I only get like 4 cost worth of droids, or worse yet, 3 cost worth of droids. Yeah. And now I paid 6 for or 3 for a 3/2, or 4 for a 3. No, yeah, this card is coaster.
I think this card really
it's searching
needed,
for a deck.
Another droid that says play another droid. You know what I mean? Like a droid that allowed you to trigger another droid or something like that.
Yeah.
You know what the worst part is that if it was 6 cost of droids, you could pull Invisible Hand and get something like that.
Is that a
at
droid?
5?
Or is that
I'm pretty sure it's a droid capital ship, isn't it?
I think it's just a capital ship, but we could check.
We have to double check. That was the first thing that came to mind when I saw this.
But
I'm like,
I just think
little.
like it costs way too much. Maybe at 5, maybe with other better things to play.
Well, why isn't it cunning? Right? They're already trying. They're kind of trying to do this droid thing with Babu Frick and C-3PO, and they gave us the beginnings of kind of like building like a droid deck, and then they give us like the droid mother here, and not in the colors that work.
They take it all away. They rip it away. There's no droids allowed. So I have to say it. But like these are the droids that I'm looking for with this next card. It's not a droid, but Luke Skywalker. I think he's an interesting one to talk about with my next pick here. And I think that he's an A tier card. I think he's a 9/7 with 2 good abilities. He's as I said, he's a 9/7 for 7. When played, your opponent can choose to either let you do 5 damage to a unit, or they create a credit token and ready him. So there are some spots where this card is not an A tier card, right? Like you don't want to be playing it into open resources sometimes, which could feel tough. If they have an empty board, they could just choose deal 5 damage and you don't get to ready. There are some downsides here that I think keep him away from the top of A tier and S tier. And I think when you first see a 9/7 Luke Skywalker, you say, oh yeah, let's go, right? But I think he's a really good card. I'm excited to see it in play. I think it's also searching for a really strong deck. I've been playing a lot in Padme Red, but overall it's, I think it's definitely a step down from Spark of Rebellion Luke, but I'm really excited that the card was printed.
Yeah, he passes the bar of when played does something, right? So to me, that puts him above Maul. But the problem is the when played does something your opponent gets to choose.
Yeah.
And I don't want to play anything you get to choose. To me, that immediately puts a mark down on the card when I let my opponent choose, because that means good opponents are going to choose what's worse for me, right? So, A, probably. He can be a big threat, a big finisher. But he's not. I'm not always going to put him in a deck, right? So he's definitely not S. But he's probably going to make his way into the Padme decks, the red, yellow hero decks by default, because he's one of the better end game threats that we have at the moment. But over time, could he get replaced? Yeah.
I have him in A tier as well. This is a pretty agreeable one to me. He's got a fair. I mean, both sides of the when played are fairly strong. So yeah, to Kyle's point, they're going to choose the worst one, but sometimes that's fine because both of them are good.
It requires a little bit more setup than you would like for a 7 cost Luke Skywalker. I
don't know. I think everything's moving that direction. I think he's very solid for 7.
No, I agree. I think that he's definitely better than most of the cards that we've talked about tonight. Just not at the tippy top.
Well, he has a comparable too, right? Thrawn, right? Thrawn is very similar. When played, your opponent gets to choose what's going to be least good for them. And Thrawn has seen some play, but he hasn't been dominant, and I feel like he's kind of just the hero version of the same thing.
Well,
right?
he's going to see more play this set for sure, obviously, right?
Yeah.
And I guess the one question that will be interesting to talk about, and let us know in the comments what you think, is is Luke better than Qui-Gon from Legends of the Force, the 7/5 ambush? Is Luke better than Mandalorian from Secrets of Power? I think these are some interesting questions where with a 7 cost Luke Skywalker, you would think that you wouldn't have to answer them, right? Kyle, you're up with your next pick.
Yeah, I'm going to pick another one that just really disappointed me. Ben Solo. 9. He costs 9. You know what I mean? Like, you better be Crate Dragon level of power, right? Yeah. If I'm paying 9, it better be a Crate Dragon. You know what I mean? And he says, okay, I'm going to pay 9. He's an 8/8 with hidden, so he's got Crate Dragon stats. He can't be attacked. I'm not sure I care about that. Usually big enough units like that aren't getting attacked to be killed. They're being removed via some way. At least he does something when played. He readies another friendly unit. Okay, so now I have to attack with something, hold open my resources, play him, and try to do it again. No, thank you. There might be some cracked way people can pair him with something and make something happen. You've got him sitting in C right now. I guess I could see that argument. I was going to put him straight to F. Yeah, I just don't see it. For that cost, no, I'm probably not playing this ever.
I think he's better than L3. Right? I mean... No, okay? I'm fine with that. I won't die on the hill. I was just gonna make a joke. You know what else readies units? The Academy Disciplinary, and they only cost 3.
Yeah, but everyone likes that card. Yeah. I've got Ben Solo as the lowest ranked legendary in this list. Okay. So I want to like him, but at 9, the effect that Kyle just described is basically, oh look, you played a 9 drop. Okay, you're either going to, or like your other big whatever you're trying to ready is either already dead because they played no glory, or you're good next turn and they do it then. Like, or you like top of this list is not super laser blast, super laser blast. Like, I don't see a use case where this guy actually gets to do anything. He's sort of similar to a lot of like the really, really big triangles we've seen the last 2 sets where it's like they cost 12 and they come in, they give something +5/+5. Like, cool. When does that ever get used? I'm hoping that there actually might be a use case for him, but I see him as bottom. Absolutely. Like the bottom of the bottom. Less useful than tear the ship apart.
That's fair. Okay. Sharkey, you're up. 2 up.
Sweet. Let's keep it in the bottom tier. What's the... I can't read the thing. It's too small in mine. The green triangle. Do you remember the name of this one?
That is the Intimidator, I believe.
That one.
Pull it up. That is the Intimidator.
Yeah, the Intimidator. Really cool art. Unfortunately, that's the best part about the card, in my opinion. I have that in the... Well, it's my C tier, which is apparently equating to your guys' trash tier. I think it can be useful in certain situations, and because of that, I have it in C. However, of the 3 triangles in this set of the villainy variety, I actually find this one to be the least exciting for me to try to play. I've liked the other use cases for the other 2 better, and so this one belongs solidly at the bottom of C for me.
Kyle?
Yeah, this is just Endless Legions again in a different form, right? How many times did you see Endless Legions played? Once or twice, 6, and it was like, oh, look, cool, that was fun.
We did it once.
You know the times I saw Endless Legions played? When I was playing Twin Suns, right? So this is just another, this is another Twin Suns Fun Z card. This doesn't have real impact on constructed play. To me, it's an F.
I think I could make an argument for low C just because it does have huge power level. It could do quite a bit. Like obviously there's like the combos floating around where you return all the resources and then your aggressive negotiations with, a ridiculous amount of cards in your hand and,
And the turn on 12.
Yeah, exactly. But I think I could see it being better than the cards we have in F. That'd be my only point to keep it in C.
You put it at the top of F. Would that make you feel good?
I'm fine.
I'm fine with C, personally.
All right, so it is.
It sounds like 2 C's to 1 F.
Yeah,
so.
And then you have another one coming up here, Sharkey.
Do I? Okay.
Yeah. I think
let's
so.
just grab...
I'm
I
trying.
don't know. We lost track. It's fine. It's not a big deal. Let's grab this one's the Lawbringer, right? The blue triangle. Let's stay with the triangle theme. Lawbringer, I have right above Intimidator. We're going to get this out of the way. I think it's solid. I don't think it goes in every blue villainy deck. I think that there are other ones in the same cost vicinity that I like a lot more, but the effect is powerful and it is when played and on attack. So this one is at the top of C, but it needs a bit of work and it doesn't automatically go in. For me, that's top of C.
Interesting, because I think this is clearly a better card than Maul, Cad Bane, or Chewbacca.
Oh, absolutely.
Kyle, what say you?
I mean, this is bad Snoke most of the time.
Yeah.
And Snoke was a solid A, right?
Yeah.
So to me, if this is bad Snoke, it's a tier down from Snoke, right? It will definitely have its uses. It's going to find its way into blue villain. I think it's definitely a B. We have to quibble about where to put it in B. I would probably put it in between Maul and Cad. I think I would leave Maul above it, but
Okay.
I think it's better than Cad or Chewbacca.
I'm fine with that argument. I don't see it that way. I could see above Chewbacca maybe, but the times it comes down is usually too little too late. Most of the time the game is decided one way or the other in the games I've played, and that is, again, probably a data bias, but there's going to be a lot of that with my rankings at this point because I have a hard time trying to judge too many things without having tried them, and I've been mostly against this card. The card that I have, the card that it competes for me to include in a deck is the Cantwell, and the Cantwell is just significantly better for things that I have been playing. And so because of that, I don't even consider Lawbringer on my radar. It's a solid card. I'm not trying to say it's bad. It requires a bit of extra work, and I don't think it's the top of its vicinity in cost or type.
I mean, it has a when played and on attack. You could choose a different aspect each time and clear the board that way. We've seen tokens, do things, whether it's spy or...
I've never seen it clear a board, though.
Well, whether it's completely clear or not, I think there's quite a bit that you could do it. I think I think C is kind of crazy for how strong the effect is. I think
maybe.
I'm cool with B, but I think C would be crazy.
Yeah, if you had a way to give it ambush, obviously it would have a chance. I don't see how you're really going to accomplish that though at the moment. I don't know. I guess I do feel a little bad, besmirching Cad here. You can move it over one more to make Sharkey happy.
No, I don't
Yeah, there we go. Dude, Cad takes the game over way more often than Lawbringer does.
No, not true. Not true.
100%. I'll even play it for you
Let us know
later.
in the comments who's right. I think Lawbringer is...
Lawbringer's
lay
2
down
turns too late by the time Cad comes
He's
down.
going to arrest Cad.
It
and
is
put
2
him in his
turns too
place,
late.
Right? All right. So now, Kyle, you're up, and then I got 2 after that.
All right, I'll do one that annoyed me when it came out, and that was Obi-Wan. I love Obi-Wan. I kind of look like Obi-Wan. It bothers me that they printed this because it's just, I could be older Obi-Wan, I guess. Anyway, he's 7 for a 7/7, so I have to compare this to an existing card we have with Rex. Rex is just better, right? And it's not a legendary. It costs 1 less. It kind of does the same thing, and the reason it does the same thing is because the text on this Obi-Wan's not going to happen. It
says nothing.
Right? So he might as well say 7/7 Sentinel, right? Yeah. Because what is it? If you control 7 or more
7/7
units,
Sentinel. That's terrible.
all you need to read is the first few words there. While you control 7 or more units, I don't care what it says after that. That's not happening. Yeah. So he's just a 7/7 for 7, right? Which I can get a 7/7 for 6 with Sentinel, so I don't want him. So to me, just because he's Obi-Wan, I'll give him C.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have anything to argue with. It is in the world where you ever pull off the ability, you're probably winning that game already, right?
I agree with that.
Again.
Yeah, it's never gonna happen. So, but I think this is gonna be like a great card for limited, which we'll be talking about a lot in the coming weeks. But for constructed, I think it's it's just outclassed by cheaper units, both in terms of rarity and in terms of costs. So
I'm gonna make an argument that I don't necessarily believe in, but I'm gonna make the argument anyway. His Sentinel is unconditional.
Okay.
And that has been relevant against Rex multiple times that I have played against him. Now, also a 7/7 Sentinel is not something that's just like, oh my god, that's it. Like that's a huge fucking Sentinel. With that argument, I think he belongs bottom of B. I don't think he belongs to be anywhere near A. Yeah, you're right. It's basically a 7/7 Sentinel with, for some reason, they decided to print more ink on the bottom of it. I don't really know what they were doing with that. But, like, you're never going to hit that. And if you do, you're going to tell a story about it one time and take a picture. But, like, it's a 7/7 Sentinel 4/7 that has relevant traits with Force Jedi and does not have a condition of needing to attack first. So, that's my argument for B, and it's the bottom of B. That being said, I'm not unhappy with top C.
Yeah, I think I'm in the C spot. I think your point about it being a big unit is definitely well taken, but I think they did Obi-Wan dirty here.
That's because we're using a stick and not a lightsaber.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, so I'm back up. I think I'm gonna go with the Persecutor here. 9 cost, 9/7. When played and not attacked, choose an arena. You may deal 3 damage to each unit in that arena. Oh man, I think this goes in A tier and pretty high into A tier. There's a lot of competition in that spot, which is a little bit of a hesitation, right? There's Fulminatrix, there's Devastator, but I think this is just one of the stronger units we have in the set.
Yeah,
go ahead.
It's obviously better than Lawbringer, right? It costs 1 more, so it should be better.
Sure.
But it's a lot better, right? And so, this one is actually going to kill stuff. It's going to be a problem. We've seen Fulminatrix already be good, and it hits one thing. This hits everything, right?
Yep.
And so, yeah, this is definitely good. Anywhere that you were kind of circling there, it's not as good as Mando or Kymer. So I'm not going to let you put it above those. But in the mix there with Rey, the Luke, and the yellow ship, anywhere in there, I think what I'd be okay with.
I've got Liberty above it, but I agree with the rest of the things said here. It's a fantastic ship.
What a comedy of riches for big ships in red, right?
Yeah.
It is pretty crazy. Like all the good green giant ships. There's good green ships like in the the mid part of the curve or whatever, but like you just have so many options. It's crazy.
Yeah, I think Persecutor's great. It's high on my list too.
And the next one I'm going to do, it's one that I don't necessarily think is like overly strong. I also don't even know if it should really be a legendary, but I think it's pretty cool, and I'm glad that we have it. And that's Anakin's Podracer. I think it belongs firmly in the middle of B. I think it'll see a fair amount of play if we see a yellow heroic deck get a little momentum here. But it's just a 3-cost 3/2 ambush. While attacking, if no other units have attacked this phase, this unit deals combat damage before the defending unit. Classic first strike, shoot first effect.
Yeah, I love that.
You're basically trying to
have it
2-for-1
below
with this,
Cad.
right?
Yeah, that's it.
The thing is, it's a 3/2 on 3. The drawback to that is that we have gone through, I think, 2 sets now where they've printed a lot of 2/4s for turn 1.
Yeah.
Love the card. That being said, it's limited use. I have it bottom of B personally, but
Yeah, how excited would Quinlan have been to have seen this
Oh my
card?
god.
all right.
Yeah, so I would have been all excited there. But, then it makes me look at any other ping leader. To your point, I want to set this up with a ping to deal with all these 4-butt units. So, potentially in Amidala, if I could ping turn 1 or whatever with the disclose. Maybe with the new Han best force ping leader, right? I can get some pings there. We'll see. Yeah, so if there's ways I can get pings off and take care of those 4 butts, this is still very effective.
Yeah.
So
The issue is getting a ping off. The issue is getting a ping off and then being able to attack first before anything else. So
yeah, so you
it
got
has
to ping turn 1 probably.
Yeah, it has quite a few conditional issues for me that have it below Cad, Chewbacca. I've got it below Obi-Wan personally. I think it's strong, but I also think that those 3 are stronger than you guys do.
I could see it
Yeah,
being
maybe-
a to be.
I wish it would have said if none of your units have attacked, right? But the fact if they have initiative and they just attack first, now it doesn't work.
It's
Like,
useless
think about
without
the use
initiative.
case if you were playing Padme and you didn't have initiative and someone played a 2/4, you played faith in your friends, got the ping in, and then we're able to do the attack first strike next turn. Like, that's perfect.
Well,
probably not going to
yeah.
happen because you don't have a play. And,
Well, the issue with that sequence is that you won't have the initiative.
Yeah, exactly.
So they're going to attack, right?
Yeah.
So, I like the card. It's just not quite too many hoops.
it is kind of
The hoops are hard to line up.
I think it's a really cool card. I was a little surprised that it was a legendary, but I think it will have its uses for sure.
Yeah, Sebulba's pod's an uncommon, right? This should have been hanging out with Sebulba's pod.
Yeah, something
think it's a
along
rare.
those lines. Kyle, you're up.
We've only got a couple left. We might as well do it. Let's talk about Max Rebo.
Okay.
Do it.
I hate this card. I hate this card because it's so high rolly one way or another. I feel like people are going to play this card and immediately lose, or they're going to play this card and immediately win. It's so polarizing. I am not playing this. It won't be in my decks, that's for sure. And sometimes when people play it against me, I'm going to be like, thank you. You just gave me the game, right? Yeah. So to me, from a design interest perspective, it's definitely interesting. So I want to keep it in B because there's something that might come out that's cracked with this card that makes a lot of sense. So I'm hedging my bets, putting it in the middle, but it's definitely not S or A. So, probably towards the end or middle-ish of B.
Sure.
I've got it in C tier. It has uses. It's interesting. I love the design space. The art's fun. Those are most of the positives I can come up with at the moment.
I got a good positive.
I'm sure there's a few more I can come up with, but most of the time that you're playing this, it's a meme deck or it's Krennic who's just really trying to get Krennic out there because you're desperate. And I don't think that's the best way to use a legendary card. It's C tier for me. It's cool. It's got uses, but you need to work for it.
So if we were ranking the design space, right, and the creativity, put
Love
it in S, baby. Put
Love
it all the way up there. I love taking the big swing. It probably will be a miss, but I love that they took the swing on it. I really
Agreed.
do, right? That being said, the positive that I have is that I think it is pretty cool. Like if you're playing a 6 or 7 drop leader and you play it on 4 to kind of blow your opponent's turn, I think I would say that's when I say turn, I mean their leader flip turn. Like for instance, if they're playing a 5 drop leader, I think that's probably the most positive thing that I could say is cool because typically your leader flip is one of the more impactful turns in the game, and all of a sudden you're making their turn less impactful because they're going up against your leader flip if you're at 6 or 7 or vice versa. So I don't know. I think there could be something that comes out. I think bottom of B is a pretty safe, hedging your bets concept. Right now, I'm not liking playing it, and I kind of enjoy when people play it against me also, currently at least. But I think, as you said, Kyle, there's a lot of room for change there.
I'm going to play Obi-Wan 100% of the time over Max Rebo. That's it.
He's probably safer.
all I have.
I think the point you made there, in the games that I've played so far, Jordan, definitely the somebody plays him and I'm licking I'm like, oh, thank you. I'm going to win this game now, right? So Pretty scary.
I was playing Jin earlier, and I was playing up against a Jabba that played this, and I missed my turn 1 play, and my turn 2 play was a turn 1 play, right? So I was like, oh man, like this is not going to be a good game. And I would have probably lost without Max Rebo because I got to just fill my hands so much.
Yeah, Max Rebo saved your game.
Aggressive negotiation, and it was there. So shout out Max. I think, what do we think? Low a B or high C?
Below Obi-Wan myself, but
Kyle?
Yeah, I'm hedging my bets with the B for kind of future proofing over some broken nonsense happening with this guy. That's why I'm edging towards B.
Let's do N to B because I'll back you up on that one. With that said, Sharkey, you're up with our last 2 picks.
oh man, do we have some exciting last 2 picks? I have. Well, let's just start with the one I'm most disappointed by in this, Maz Kanata.
Okay.
Maz is as close to, like, the second closest to coaster rating that I had, because I do believe that there are use cases, so I have her in C tier. However, it's a 5-cost 4/4 pseudo sentinel at this point. That's really all you're ever going to get out of Maz Kanata, because if she attacks, then something has already gone wrong and you've lost. The ability is cool, but it's when it completes an attack, I believe is the wording on there, and just dropping it on 5 means that you're going into round 6 with a 4/4. That's not particularly hard to remove for anybody who's played a unit from 2, 3, or 4. I would have liked to see Maz be a little bit better. The effect is cool. I would have loved to see it be a when played. I don't see it without it being one.
Yeah, so she has a 5-cost 4/4 when attack ends. If this unit survived, search the top 5 cards of your deck for an underworld unit and play it for, I think, 3 less. It's a little small on my screen. 4 less.
Yeah.
Okay. And then it enters play ready. At the start of their group phase, put that unit in the bottom of your deck. So
I've even experimented letting Maz hit me a few times and still won the game.
interesting. Yeah.
She's never gonna live. The only reason I would see this would have worked if we still had sneak attack, right? If I could sneak attack out Maz, hit your base with Maz, dig for another card, pull it out ready, and then double hit you. Now we're talking. But without sneak attack, this card is just like, we have that Daigen master, that duck. Like, seems like a bad version of the duck, right?
Yeah,
so
duck's
like,
just
and
better.
the duck's not good.
Yeah,
So
play it too, right?
Yeah.
This to me is a Twin Suns card. I think you can make for some fun hijinks. Oh, you got the attack off. Oh, you didn't get the attack off, etc., etc. I'm a little disappointed as well. Legends of the Force Maz is just better, right? Like,
Significantly.
yeah. So that's a tough one.
It could be an Eternal card, right? I mean, that sneak attack play could, double hit you end games, right? But
There's a lot
it's
of
not.
cool
It doesn't have a
underworld
place.
cards in Eternal. As
My
well.
brain has shut off Eternal for at least a year. I'm not
Yeah.
I'm not even going to bother.
Yeah,
So.
sounds
You're right.
good.
The last one is Hondo. I have Hondo at the top of C because I do think that there are use cases for him. He's a 3/7. He costs 5. I don't think he's amazing, but
Yeah.
he's cool and interesting, and I think you can fit him into certain decks. Haven't done a ton of experimenting with it though, so like, I think the effect is at least better than Maz.
Yeah, so he's a 5-cost 3/5, a double aspect, cunning, and vigilance. You may look at the top card of your deck at any time, which is just cool. That's a cool thing in general. And the action is play the top card of your deck, paying its cost, use this ability once per round. So again, if we were grading on creativity, A, good job.
Yeah,
I
100%.
like it. I think that this is waiting for a deck. I think within this rotation block, I wouldn't be surprised if we see a leader that fits this type of style, a la like the old Thrawn builds and stuff. Will that deck be good? Probably not. Stay tuned to find out, but we'll see.
Well, he does kind of fit with Lando already, right? With Lando, you want to make sure you hit the right aspects, and if you're going to Lando yourself and guarantee a hit,
that's
you've
fair.
already seen the top card, right? So he kind of fits with Lando, but yeah, his stat line for his cost, he's pretty expensive to be putting a 3/7 on the board. That's not doing a whole lot for you. So again, I agree with you guys. Interesting, cool. I just don't think the stats, pay off enough to, or no win played. So. Probably C. He's right in the muck there. Those ones we've got him next to.
So we finished up the tier list. What's one that's going to keep you up at night and make you regret putting it there, you think, Kyle?
It might be Mando. I might push Mando up to S. We don't have a lot of S's here, and I'm always a little more weary on putting things to S. S has got to be like, this card is going to see a ton of play,
Avengers,
right?
Super Laser Blast, Luke, Vader.
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
Cad Bane.
But if you're playing red blue right now, it just seems like a lot of people, they build the deck and then they try Mando. They're like, man, Mando's really good. He's just starting to find his way into every red blue deck.
Well,
I think,
you know
right?
what's funny? I was playing him in
I think that's a
Towson
little bit,
over Kiadi for a bit in Towson Red, and a lot of people in that video we posted were really confused by that. And I think he's just, the shield really does make an impact, and it's a replaceable shield as well.
Yeah, it's a replaceable shield. It's a 6'5" body. He's got a lot going for him. I think he's super strong. I would make an argument that he's not S tier. I think he's just a very, very solid A. But
and that's where we put him.
Awesome.
But
Yeah,
I could.
so I think he's
that.
awesome there.
Yeah.
Sharky, same question to you. Which one's going to keep you up at night?
If I'm being honest, I think Tear the Ship Apart is going to find a way to break it. If I had to pick one of the ones I think I'm probably undervaluing, it's that one, and I think it's higher than you two do. And I don't know why I think that. It's just something in the back of my head is like, the highs of that one are really high, and I do think that there is something there. I just haven't quite felt like I cracked it yet.
Do you think it's more likely, Kyle, that we see Tear the Ship Apart break a game for a week, or do something crazy, or Max Rebo?
I think it's Max Rebo. I think somebody's going to figure out Max Rebo, and somebody's going to have some crazy deck that Max Rebo is really just wrecking havoc. Tear the Ship Apart is going to win games. People are going to just, they're going to get a Bo-Katan off it or something stupid and win games they had no business winning, but I don't think that's a strategy.
What? Hope isn't a strategy? Come on, get out of here.
Yeah,
I think Max Rebo is absolutely going to break games. He's just going to break it for the wrong player.
I think if one was really going to keep me up at night, it would be the Liberty and not having it a bit higher. I think
I had that in S already.
Has a really big upside as we get going here. So in the past, we've complained about the overall strength of legendaries in the class. Real quick, let's go through and do some comparative rankings. Just A, B, C, D. How do we think this goes in terms of comparison? Do we think this is a good set for legendaries? I'll kick it off. I think it's pretty good. I think there's significantly less legendaries than usual that I would just be pissed to open, right? That I would be like, oh man, this sucks. I wish I didn't open this.
I think something that this. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, I was just going to agree with you. We've had a lot of sets where, especially if you think Twilight and some of these ones where almost all of them were coasters, right? We just had a huge, there was hey, there's one or two I want and the rest are coasters. This set, to your point, yeah, there's just a lot of decent, I'm going to need 3 copies of pretty much everything in S, A, and most of B, right? So that's, there's a lot of legendaries I'm going to need.
Yeah, I agree with the premise there too. And part of what I think has been problematic with previous ones is that you go back and look at Spark. Well, Spark's an exception. Go look at Shadows, go look at Twilight, and there's about 2 to 3 legendaries that really stand out. They're very, very good legendaries, and the rest suck. This one, I think, is a lot harder to pick out S tier, partially because I think all of these have, I think even C and above, have some very strong use cases for the most part. And because of that, they're at least interesting and at best very good cards. And this is a significantly better batch of legendaries than we have seen, I think, thus far.
I agree. And I think my last question, I want to kind of do a little hypothetical here. Will our ratings in terms of these rankings play out to their monetary value at the end of the set? Do we think single reactor, ignition reactor, or whatever, SRI, is that going to be the most expensive legendary? Kyle?
Yes, I think so. Yep, because you're going to need 3 copies. If you're playing Control, you need 3 copies. It's going to be good. Some of these other legendaries, you can get away with less than 3 copies. Even in our A tier, right? I'm not convinced I ever need 3 Rays in a deck. Maybe 2, right? Chimer, I'm going to want 3 of. Mando, probably. But some of these other ones, I'm probably, I don't absolutely have to have 3. So that lowers their, monetary value. That, and, we get so many treatments of these cards, too. That hurts a little bit, too.
That was something I was going to mention, is that it depends on the treatments. If you take that aside, I do think that there's some popular characters across the tier list here, too. So, that may inflate the price a little bit, but I do think single ignition rate, or whatever it is, Super Laser Blast.
Yeah. We're not getting
Super Laser Blast is going to be the most expensive one, I think.
Yeah, we're not getting a prestige Super Laser Blast because those are all characters. I know I have to get that as a regular legendary. Whereas a bunch of these characters, I may get prestige versions, so now I have multiple ways to earn them or get them.
So what's the card that's going to be the second most expensive, Kyle?
It's it's probably Keimer, because Keimer doesn't fit into the prestige. I don't think we're going to get a prestige version of Keimer. So it's like Super Laser Blast, he's only got one treatment and he's at the top of A. So yeah, it's probably in order. Keimer's number 2.
I think if I had to say, it would be him or Luke, just because
he's Luke.
Yeah,
I was going to guess Mando would be the next one. Keimer or Mando were my 2 picks.
What's going to be the cheapest legendary of this set?
L3.
Oh, yeah. Or Ben Solo. People like Kylo Ren. I guess he's not Kylo Ren anymore, but he's holding the lightsaber.
I thought his name
so
was
yeah,
Matt or
L3.
something. Wasn't his name Matt?
Yeah, he's a radar technician,
Yeah,
isn't
the
he?
radar tech, yeah. I think I probably agree with that. I think Maz will be pretty cheap as well. I think that Obi and Hondo have some character interest that'll probably keep them up. I think the Intimidator will probably be like $1.50 or something like that, but we'll see. Yeah. What are your thoughts on the prestige variants that we've seen so far as we're closing things up? Sharkey, let's hear from you.
The backgrounds are a little weird, but I actually like the art. I have been a lot more positive than a lot of the comments I've seen. I do think that it's cool that they're trying to do something interesting with the multi-aspect coloring, and I have a feeling that they're all going to look a lot better in person as well. Like the foiling treatment should make these pop pretty well.
Yeah.
So I'm interested to see them at the very least.
Kyle?
Yeah, you guys know I like bright colors. If you've ever met me at any of the tournaments, I'm wearing multicolored nonsense, right? So these are multicolored cards, so I want to like them. Ooh, seeing them on the web, not great. Yeah. I'm very hopeful, like Sharkey, that in person they look a lot cooler than they do not in person. Because if all the colors really pop, I think I will enjoy it. But I don't know. It's not translating from looking at it on my webpage, in my browser.
And you know what? Those are like the type of color schemes that I like too, like kind of bright, vibrant, Miami Vice style, whatever. So I'm holding that hope as well. I think the digital stuff, I can understand and see that the digital stuff doesn't play out as well. Last thing I'll say here, and I'm tying it into our sponsor from our friends over at Premier Games, is that for a set based around credits, I'm a little surprised that these legendaries didn't have many more mentions of credits across the board, right? I think there's only 2 cards that mention credits at all, and that's Cad and Luke, right?
Yep.
So I think overall that's pretty interesting. And speaking of credits, you go over to premiergames.store and get what we believe to be the best credit tokens in SWU and the best tokens in SWU. The Republic Gold are in stock, the Old Republic, and they're my go-to. I think I can see an argument for the Imperial as well. They're on back order. They'll be stocked up here in March, but I've been loving them as we're getting ready, and we had a great time just playing around with them the other day when we were at local. So I'm excited to be able to use them week to week.
I'm excited to get mine from you.
Yeah, well, you're gonna have to make me. You gotta pry them out of my cold dead hands. So
come take them from you.
Yeah, go over to premiergames.store, use Colorado Cantina Crew in the checkout, save 10% on the best tokens in SWU. A lot of legendaries, a lot of stuff coming on for you guys. We are going through our press kit. We're gonna have our second set annual in-house tournament. We have our strategy coming up for limited as well, get you amped up to dominate your pre-release. So that's all we got for this extra edition of the pod, because we went too long on our leader tier list. Hopefully you agreed with us. If you didn't, let us know in the comments. Let us know where we got it wrong. Until next time, I'm Jordan for Kyle and Sharkey. Stay tuned, stick with us, and we'll see you next time.